Recently, I had a friend challenge me on whether or not I even like making videos anymore. And I trust them, they're my friend. And I thought it was an interesting question. And so I've decided I'm going to try and articulate the answer that I articulated to them for this video today. So, the reason the question was asked is because if you just can't beat someone who is having fun because the work feels light, it feels easy, and it feels fun. It feels fun to do. It feels nourishing and generative in the sense that it generates energy from yourself. Then why is it that I am spending so much time trying to troubleshoot making stuff? Isn't it supposed to be easy? Isn't it supposed to come easy as well? And I think it's a good question. And I think it is also the question that I am trying to answer with this entire project. So I'm going to try and put some of the pieces together in this video. Why is it so hard for me? And why is it still fun if it's so hard for me? So one of the reasons that I think that this is hard for me is because I have, like I said, in literally the first video on this project of doing things every single day. One of the reasons why I think it's hard for me is because my taste has far exceeded my skill. And because of that, the things that I want to make, I can't materialize. And that piece, I think, is a major reason why I have atrophied in terms of my skill, because I feel dejected and feel discouraged when I make stuff that isn't as good as what I want it to look like or want it to be like. So that's the one piece, right? So you have this taste skill gap, which can be pretty motivating. It's exciting to be able to close that gap because you get to learn a bunch of stuff. But I think it's only exciting when you have to close that gap the first time. I think if your skill atrophies, you have to relearn stuff that you already knew, and it feels really frustrating. So because of that, that is one of the reasons why I think it is not fun. There's a frustration to the fact that I am having to relearn things that I at one point already knew. The other piece to this is that I am an Enneagram 5. Now, I don't really believe in personality tests and all of this stuff, primarily because there are kind of two things that personality tests generally do. One is they either are so generic that they could apply to anyone. This is what I think horoscopes are like, let's say. And then the other is that they just reflect the information that you put into the quiz that you gave it. So if you tell it you're grumpy, it'll tell you BuzzFeed will tell you you're a grumpy character. And all it's doing is it's reorganizing information that you already gave it and then giving it back to you. So that's the disclaimer. But the reason I like the Enneagram is because I actually do think that it reflects the information that you give it back to you in a way that is quite functional. So what is an Enneagram 5 and how does this connect to anything? An Enneagram 5, just the way Enneagram personality types work is that they try to articulate a core fear and a basic desire that motivates you. And these two things are usually two sides of the same coin. So there is a desire for competency when it comes to my motivation. And so that's not only the fear, which is the fear of being useless or being incapable, and the desire, which is to be competent and to be excel in the task that you do. So if this is the basic fear and the basic desire, you can kind of try understand how these two things interact, right? You have the skill taste discrepancy, which generates this space, which can be filled by a perceived feeling of incompetency and uselessness because you aren't able to do the thing that you used to be able to do, and your taste is far exceeding your skill, and so the stuff you're making isn't good, and it's not even good by your own standards, let alone your taste. It's not good by the standard that you used to have for your own skill. Your self-conception of your skill is higher than your skill level. And so because of this, there's this psychological pain that is then articulated by procrastination and frustration and all of these negative emotions. And so these pieces, I think, explain why it's so difficult for me to make videos and why this process is a kind of rite of passage that I have to go through. The reason it's so difficult is because I'm trying to close that taste gap skill, but I'm also having to flush out all of the preconceived notions that I have of how good something has to be. And so all of this creates procrastination and frustration and all of it, all of the rest of it. And so then the question is, if this is the case, do I even like making videos anymore? And I guess the question I have, and the question I'm trying to answer with this project, is I can't tell if I like making videos anymore, because the only thing I can see in front of me is the frustration that I have that I can't make the types of videos that I want to make because my skill has atrophied and my taste has exceeded my skill. And so what I really need to answer is, what does it look like for me to reach a point where I feel competent again when it comes to making videos? And the feeling of competence is more important than actually being competent, because when you start off, you're kind of bad, but you feel in your element because it's the first time you're learning a bunch of stuff. And I think that if I was to feel competent when making stuff and I get into the momentum of making stuff, I think that that process will then move the frustration and feeling of incompetence out of the process of making videos enough for me to clearly see whether or not making videos itself is the thing that I'm procrastinating, or if it's this piece in the middle, which is the competency thing that causes me frustration. So that's what this entire project is about. And I'm personally convinced that once I feel more competent in making videos, I will enjoy them again. And once I enjoy them again, I will like making videos. I think I do love the process of making videos of creation. I think doing a creative act is something I love doing. And the frustration I have is that this is something that I care deeply about and I like and I'm excited by. And I also think I'm good at, or at least I used to be even better at, and now I'm worse. I don't really know. I still think I'm good at it. I just think that there are some of the creative pipes inside of my body are slightly gunked up, and they're causing the entire system to be sort of malfunctioning a little bit. So that's ultimately the clearest articulation of the problem that I'm facing, and sort of answering the question of, like, do I even like making videos if I haven't been able to make videos for so long? And I think that the answer is, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I do. And the barrier is just the fact that I can't make the types of videos that I am really excited to make because I have these things I need to work through. Now, all of that being said, like I said yesterday, I'm having loads of fun now. And one of the reasons I'm having loads of fun is because I am doing a lot of the creative work that I really love outside of the one piece that is still frustratingly difficult for me, which is the actual camera shooting part. What I mean by that is research, story editing, structuring stuff, coming up with ideas, all of that. Even editing, when I edit these little things, I love editing. So there are all of these bits that I really love, and there is the one bit that I have this frictionful experience with, because I used to be, I think, pretty good at shooting stuff, and now for some reason I just can't get my head around it. And yeah, it's just that's the bit that's really crippling me. So all of that to say, I just really feel like we are at the final hurdle, and I think that this is an interesting time to talk about the fact that this entire experiment has what started a little bit about it, started with the premise of getting better at the thing, because I really needed to understand exactly what it is that is stopping me from doing stuff. That's sort of the articulation of the answer that I gave my friend. But they really pushed me on it. They really were like, listen, do you want to do this? Like, is this really what you want to do? Or is this just something that you feel like you have to do because what else are you going to do? You have a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers and blah, 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 blah. And I think there is very few people in your life who can directly challenge you and really push you like that. And I'm extremely grateful for those people. That's the video for today.